Good morning, and welcome. Welcome to what has been a long time coming. It is indeed, maybe I would say one of the best days in D7 in the city of Detroit. I'm Nicole Schreiber-Freeman. I lead economic development and Detroit at Work for the city of Detroit. And we are excited to have quite a crowd this morning. We are joined by community leaders, whom you'll hear from later. We are joined by our newly elected City Councilman, Fred Durhall Jr., and I think by State Rep Karen Whitsett. There she is over there. That's great. And by so many other partners who've had a voice and a role. I'm so sorry. I looked right at you, Commissioner Alicia Bell. I'm so sorry. I'm sure I missed somebody. It's a problem with doing a call out, right? You're definitely going to miss somebody. But by so many other partners who've had a role and a place in getting us to where we are today, and we're excited about it. The place we should start, though, this morning is by understanding exactly what's going to happen here. And to do that, to help us get started, let's invite Mayor Mike Duggan.
I think everybody I talked to as I came in, the first word was finally. This is special. Detroit, for a long time, had an international reputation for ruin, and when people came around the world and took pictures, this building is one of the 10 buildings that was a symbol of the decay of Detroit, along with the train station, which of course is now being renovated, the Cadillac stamping plant, which NorthPoint has knocked down and is building a beautiful Lear seating plant, and a number of others. And we're going to finish with the Packard plant. But each one of these 10 projects, we've had a mission to erase the ruin porn from the city's landscape. And just to give you a sense of how complicated this was, Nicole Schreiber-Freeman, Gene Bellinger needs to stand up. This has been Gene's deal from our Economic Growth Corporation. So let me tell you about this. You've got over there, 38 acres or so that was owned by Wayne County for back taxes. The city got title to it by swapping it for the land the county needed to build the jail. Then we're sitting on 8, yes, thank you, Alicia. She was on both sides of the deal, right? Then we're on 8.5 acres that were owned by a private owner who didn't want to sell to us. And those neighbors know there was truck driving schools and other things that weren't particularly neighbor-friendly activities here, but he said he was willing to swap us. And so Gene found him some land on Greenfield, and Detroit City Council last year approved the swap. Then we got about another 25 parcels, another 4 acres that are owned by the land bank, and Saskia Thompson's here. We assembled all of that into a 50-plus acre parcel. And here's why we had to do it. That building you're looking at used to be American Motors Corporation headquarters. And in 1975, AMC moved their headquarters out of Detroit to Southfield. And Mayor Coleman Young was early in his term, was reputed to have been so angry that he pledged never to buy an AMC vehicle again. And I have no doubt, knowing Mayor Young, that he said that. A couple years later, Chrysler bought AMC. And for a while, Chrysler had some engineers in here in a reduced way, but they moved them out to Auburn Hills in '95. Basically, for the last 25 years, this has been nothing but an eyesore and a drain on the neighborhood. This building is just not usable. And when I came in and we looked at it, it was going to cost $10 million to demolish it and clean up the site. And given coming out of bankruptcy, we couldn't really justify laying out $10 million on one site, even though Karen Whitsett, every time I ran into her, told me why we should, and so did the neighbors. But we had to get the right deal. And so when the folks from NorthPoint came to town and said, we want to do industrial development, and we are having enormous success with GM, Stellantis, and Ford. Every time they pick a new supplier, they give us a chance to pitch them first. And we have been landing supplier after supplier in the city. And so when they came to me, I said, I've got this 40-year-old abandoned factory on Connor, Cadillac stamping. If you guys are really serious, buy the property from us and knock it down. And to my amazement, they bought it from us. They spent $10 million and demolished it, and they landed the Lear plant, which is under construction right now. It's taken it from a symbol of blight to a symbol of beauty and excitement. And so I said, okay, I'm sold. That if you guys are really good, you could do the AMC site. And I thought they were going to ask me for a bunch of money to knock it down first. But instead, they are buying the property from us. They're going to demolish and clean the site at their own expense. The thing they wanted was, they wanted a big enough site to make it worthwhile, which is why Gene had to put all these different parcels together. And so now, instead of the city paying to demolish, we're going to get a check for the land, and we're going to see beauty going. And so some of the initial transactions are at the Brownfield Authority, but in January, Councilman Durhall and City Council will be taking up the main transaction, sell the parcel to NorthPoint, and we're going to have to give them tax break support. Otherwise, they're not going to have the money to spend $10 million cleaning up this site. But for anybody who lives over here, I am convinced within a couple of years, you're going to see a manufacturing facility that's going to be employing 300 or 400 people, be a source of employment to this neighborhood instead of a source of embarrassment. And so I am really pleased that we finally got this done. I know the folks at District 7 are going to be there. Before we're done, we're going to have this announcement at the Packard plant. We're going to get rid of the rest of the blight in this city. But for today, Tim Condor, I told him once he does the AMC thing, I'm going to talk to him about the Packard plant. For some reason, he doesn't think that's a good deal. But we're going to keep working on him. But today, they are doing a great thing for this city. So let me introduce Tim Condor from NorthPoint.
Thank you, Mayor Duggan. Appreciate the kind words. I'm not sure if we're smart enough to figure out deals like this, or if we should be looking at other sites. But you know, we'll certainly make you proud of what we do here. I'm Tim Condor. I'm with NorthPoint Development. NorthPoint Development's a Kansas City-based industrial developer. I'm opening up an office here in Detroit. We'll have new office space down on Woodward, just south of the Chrysler Freeway here in a few months. So we're bringing folks into town. My goal is, I'm tired. I just grew up on the other side of the freeway over in Rosedale Park here, so I know this area real well. Detroit, we're just tired of being a punching bag. My goal is to make Detroit one of the top industrial markets in the country. I'll get into some of the issues that we're seeing within the market here, but Detroit is on everyone's radar screen right now. The Detroit area, a lot of people don't like to play in the Detroit proper space. We do. We're not afraid of projects like this. We're not afraid of the stamping plant over on Connor. If you have an opportunity to drive over there, I was over there yesterday. The steel's up. Not all of it. It's about halfway up. So you'll begin to see the walls go up, and similarly here we'll do the same thing. We're excited to be in Detroit again today. This is our second project in the city. This project, we have some depictions here. It'll be a state-of-the-art industrial facility. It'll total 730,000 square feet, 2 buildings. The larger building will be towards Plymouth Road here. It's a 500,000 square foot cross dock, we call it. And the other building north towards Fullerton will be a single load. We think these products work real good in the market. I've had some preliminary discussions with some of the suppliers and some of the OEMs, and they're very interested in this location as well as this product. The initial investment that we're anticipating is $66 million to bring these buildings down and to build the buildings that we have exhibited up here. We anticipate 150 to 200 construction jobs associated with this, and then at least 300 permanent jobs to follow once the buildings are complete. We'll utilize Detroit at Work to, for the staffing, and so local residents here will have the first look at the jobs that will follow the project. Part of the reason why we like this, we've seen a robust demand for Class A industrial space in the city of Detroit. This site, the former AMC headquarters site, is ideal for new industrial development. We have good access off the roads, off the freeway. We can get into the city and cover other areas within the Detroit metropolitan area. Why Detroit? the market fundamentals for Detroit are outstanding. There's a low vacancy rate. There's a lack of Class A product, what we're building here in the city. And most important, this is where the industry is. The industry is in the city of Detroit. It's the OEMs. It's, you know, Ford's in Dearborn, but, you know, Stellantis has 2 plants in town. DHAM with GM, or Factory Zero, is in Detroit. That's what we like. That's what makes the market fundamentals for Detroit so good. Secondly, Detroit has a highly skilled labor force and a highly skilled labor pool that's available. You can build these buildings, but the big buzzword now in the industrial development business, as well as most businesses, is the availability of labor. The labor scores around here are hot. They're off the charts. So we like the labor. And third is Mayor Duggan and his administration has been wonderful to work with. We're thrilled beyond belief to be able to work in conjunction with the city, as well as the DEGC, the senior leadership there with Kevin Brown, Kenyatta, and like Mayor Duggan mentioned, Gene Bellinger's been a huge help, and they've been very instrumental. So we appreciate that. And finally, it's an honor to be here to announce this project, and we look forward to working with the city and partnering with them going forward on this project. And yes, we'll have discussions on the Packard plan as well. So thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you so much, Tim. You know, it's really hard to believe that it was just 6 months ago that we were standing here with Tim and our other partners at NorthPoint over at CAD Stamping on the east side of Detroit talking about taking that down. Like, it was just 6 months ago that they made the commitment that they would hire Detroiters, give Detroiters priority, that they would recruit a tenant to do that. That's what they told us, and that's what they did. And those are the kinds of partnerships that are going to keep moving this city forward. It is an example of what a good public-private partnership looks like, and done well, a good public-private partnership is good for residents, it's good for Detroiters, it's good for the community, it's good for the company, and that's the way that we ensure that opportunity rises. So the outcome that we're talking about today, as Mayor Duggan said, was really complicated, and so a special shout out to Detroit Economic Growth Corp. Kenyatta Burgess couldn't be with us today, but as the mayor said, she's represented by Gene Bellinger. There were so many other partners across the city. You know, in most situations, you use industrial and commercial property to pull these kinds of deals together, but sometimes you need vacant land to help assemble the right footprint for the right developer, for the right tenant, to get the right careers and jobs for Detroiters. And to do that, we had the Land Bank as our partner. And so I'm going to invite Saskia Thompson, Executive Director of the Land Bank, to come up and tell us what her team did to help pull this off. Thanks, Saskia.
So thanks, everybody. And this is a really exciting project. It's really exciting to be here. We've had, and this is a great week to be in Detroit. Earlier this week, we actually celebrated our 20,000th side lot being sold. That program is eliminating blight by putting individual properties in the hands of individual Detroiters just to benefit from, to live their lives on, and to enjoy with their families and their community. This project is equally important. So with over 63,000 vacant lots under our management and our responsibility, we have to be really creative about how we use that land. And this project is really, really exciting. So we want to be able to provide land for individual Detroiters, but to also be able to provide it for something as core as this, an economic development project that's going to bring jobs to our city, particularly jobs for the people who actually live here, is really, really exciting. Like many of you here, I also grew up in Detroit, in fact, in Rosedale Park. My parents still live in the home I grew up in. And when you grow up in the city and you see all these signs of the visible blight around you, it is really, really powerful to be part of the team that is removing that blight and restoring the city back to the glory that that we all know that it can be and that it once was. It's an extremely important project, and we're really, really excited to be part of it. So we don't have the portfolio of this project is a lot of industrial land, but the vacant land that we manage, we're participating by handing that over, and really, really looking forward to just seeing this building come down and something much better in the place of it, and then just continuing hopefully around the rest of the city doing the same thing. I'm so grateful that I get to be part of it. I work with an amazing team, and you know, the mayor said it best. These projects are incredibly complex, and it requires a lot of talent and just expertise and a lot of creative hard work to put something this big together. And we're just really, I can't say enough about how excited we are that this project is coming along and that we get to be part of it in the form of making sure that the vacant land goes back to a purpose that actually benefits Detroiters themselves, the community overall, the city that we all know and love. So thank you.
Saskia, thanks so much. Deals that work for Detroiters only happen when leadership comes together and makes it happen. And that kind of work takes strong, experienced leaders in City Council. And that's the kind of leadership we have in D7 now, with former state rep and newly elected City Council member Fred Durhal Jr. So Councilmember Durhal Jr. Worked hard for Detroit during his time in the House of Representatives to secure funding for first responders and community development. And now he's going to bring that same drive to work on Detroit City Council for this district. So please join me in welcoming Councilmember Durhal Jr.
Well, good morning and welcome to D7. As she said, we are just elated and excited. I think finally does sum up some of the words of some great community leaders like Ms. Lowe. I see Angie Webb in the back as well, and some folks who have just been, working for this community for years. Not only has this been an eyesore, but issues that have not been spoken about. Blight, illegal dumping happens at this site, and this will give us an opportunity to alleviate a lot of those issues with this project. We're excited because it will help revitalize the community. It will get folks back to work. We're talking 250 new construction jobs that will come with this project. And then hopefully in the future, when we get folks to come in here and occupy the space, we're looking at 300 or more jobs. That is something that helps our communities, helps our neighborhoods, helps stabilize the city of Detroit just in general. And so I could not be more excited to work closely with the mayor's office, with our community leaders, NorthPoint as well, thank you, so we can get this down and start to rebuild District 7. So I'd like to thank you for all for being here today, and we look forward to more projects in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Durhal. So, leadership in the city works best when it is complemented by strong leadership at the state level. And dealing with this vacant site has been a priority of State Representative Karen Whitsett for years. She's been actively working for funding to remediate the site because she cares very much about what's happening at ground level in the community. So if you would please join me in welcoming 9th District State House Representative Karen Whitsett.
Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be standing here where there is change happening. Almost to this day is when I had this conversation with our wonderful mayor regarding this site. And it didn't seem like this day was going to come soon enough for us. Before I was state representative, I was a Black Club president. Before that, I was just simply Karen from this neighborhood. And I've been here since 1969. So I saw what this was like. I saw the vitalization of our community and how important this land was to us in the building that was here. So to see that kind of decline, not kind of, to see it massively decline and to become such an eyesore for our community, I felt that it was choking us. So to see us have this now, this revitalization, I can't say enough about this, and I'm so happy that I can finally answer the concerns of my constituents that I've kind of vaguely answered, but let them know the whole faith that the mayor kept his word, and here we are today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Whitsett. This roster would be incomplete if we didn't ask Wayne County Commissioner Alicia Bell to speak. So I don't know that you were prepared for it, but you're always prepared. So if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you so much.
You know, the words have been echoed, and I echo the words that have been spoken already about how this has been such a concern for our district for so long. As I stated earlier, I've been here on the commission for 18 years, and this has no doubt been on the top of my priority list to have something happen right here in this community. So thank you, Mayor Duggan, and your awesome team. This is surely an example of how public-private partnerships can work, getting things done for our community and making sure that our community have the jobs, eliminates the blight, and can be something we can be proud of right here in District 7. I always tease because I share the same number as City Council District 7, so we're both D7, and I'm just so happy and proud to be here and happy and proud of this development. I cannot wait. Thank you so much. This is a long time overdue. I was 6 years old in 1975 when the AMC abandoned this, so this just goes to tell you how long this has been an issue in our community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to spreading the news, spreading the word that we're going to have some great development right here in D7. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, County D7 leadership. So the voice of the community has really been central to this project. And we've got Pastor Q, here we are, Pastor Q, Quantez Presley, who's been pastor of Third New Hope Baptist Church for the past 12 years? 2. Does it feel like 12? So most of his church members actually live within a few blocks of this site, and he's excited about the development in this area and the good paying jobs that it's going to bring to not just his church family, but the community at large. Please join me in welcoming Pastor Q.
Thank you. I have been serving at Third New Hope for 12 years, but had the pleasure of becoming the lead pastor in 2020. And I served for 10 weeks before this global pandemic hit. And so it indeed has felt like 12 years. But it is a joy, again, to be able to share in this awesome opportunity. As you all know, our church is in this district with over 80% of our members living here in this district. And just a few months ago, I gathered a group of trustees together, and we got in our church van and began to canvass the community to get a sense of the current condition of the neighborhood. And when we stopped in this area right in front of this plant, it was with a great chorus that almost everyone in the van had wishes that something would happen with this building. And so you can imagine the enthusiasm that I felt when what we were believing in faith actually was taking place in reality. And so we're grateful to the NorthPoint Development as well as the mayor's office and all those who are working to make this project come to pass. Because the scripture tells us that there is a time to tear down and a time to build up. And I'm overjoyed to witness both of these principles come to light in this project. And so it is our hope that when this plant is redeveloped and there's new occupancy here, that it will begin to encourage those who have been working in this community for decades, that their labor was not in vain. But more than that, that it would actually spark more corporate sponsors, business owners, and developers to see the potential vitality in this community when people invest in the future of this neighborhood. And so we are excited about what this project points to and signals for our community, that we have not been forgotten and that there is great future here in District 7. And so again, thank you to the mayor's office and to all of those who are working diligently to make this project a reality.
Thank you so much, Pastor Q. I got to tell you, I don't know if we really need the heater that's hooked up in this room, because there is enough energy in this room to fire it up and heat it without that. Thank you so much. We're going to hear from another strong community leader because the community voice is so important here, Reverend Cynthia Lowe. She is the head of Unity Outreach in Detroit. She works in the community doing cleanups and improving the lives of Detroiters, and is the president of Paveway Block Club here in D7. And we think this project might just be the answer to prayer for her. So please help me welcome Reverend Lowe.
Hello, everyone. This is one of the best days of my life. I am so happy. I moved in this neighborhood in 1979, right on Thornton Street. It's right there on that map. And it was a wonderful neighborhood because I was a single woman and I wanted a home for my sister, her 2 kids, and myself. And I moved over here. It was a community. We had a Kmart down on Plymouth. We had a Domino's Pizza. We had cleaners. It was a community. We had a nice school for the children. And right here, when you came down the street, you had this beautiful, well-maintained building. It was the linchpin of this neighborhood. And the Chrysler worked with us. It was beautiful. And I say this because this is a wonderful community. We have nice homes over here. They're brick homes. They're well built. And when I moved here, it was a nice home for me, a single lady with her sister and her 2 kids. But also, seniors moved over here. A couple of seniors told me they were downsizing. They had bigger homes, but they didn't want to go to a senior place, so they bought these affordable homes, and they were able to live in them. This was a wonderful community. We used to have block club meetings, and we would try to decide who had the prettiest home. You couldn't decide because the houses were so well maintained. We don't have that problem now. Now, I've watched this building. It's just been it's almost like a nightmare. It was just beautiful. And then when Chrysler moved, it went completely down. I actually have come in here and tried to stop people from dumping. You had corporations that came over here to dump. It just became an eyesore, like nobody cared about us. We used to call ourselves a forgotten neighborhood, but that's one thing this administration will not be able to let us say anymore. We cannot call ourselves a forgotten neighborhood. I remember the person who bought this factory. He cannibalized it. He took all the bricks, all the windows out. He took all the beautiful things out of it, and then he let people put all this dumping over here. And like I say, I am truly grateful. I'm truly grateful, and this is going to revitalize this neighborhood. I am hoping. There's nothing wrong with being a renter. It's okay to be a renter. But what I'm hoping is that more people will come back, just like they did in 1979, buy the houses, live in them, and raise their family in them, because this is a nice place. It's close to the freeway, and et cetera. And Mayor, I do have something to say to you, because I retired from the city of Detroit. 20-something years ago, I was working part-time at Cobo Hall. I walked down Woodward. It was a wig shop, Mary Ann Plus, and walking down the street was me and a homeless man. That was it. Look at Woodward now. I just commend you. I grew up on 8 Mile. Livernois, I remember the original B. Siegel. Livernois was fantastic. It kind of went down, but look at it now. And also, I appreciate the fact you gave us the solar project over at I-96 in Greenfield. I see the work that you're doing. I compliment you, and I appreciate you. And I especially thank you for this. This is going to completely revitalize our neighborhood. And many blessings to you. Thank you.
All right, well, I don't get too many days when everybody's happy with me, so I think I'm going to enjoy this. Any questions? Let me introduce Police Commissioner William Davis is here as well, and I know, how long you been in this neighborhood?
I've been in this neighborhood since 1983.
Okay, so long time. A lot of people stayed here for a long time. I'm going to be excited. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead. So if you look here at those 2 buildings, they're going to build a 500,000 square foot building and then a 200 or 300,000 square foot building. But here's what's happening. GM is building all these new electric vehicles, the Silverado, the Hummer, and the like, at Factory Zero. Stellantis is building 500, 600,000 Jeeps a year in the city of Detroit. Ford is adding more and more trucks at the Wayne Assembly Plant west of here. Every time they put on a new model, they pick new suppliers. Somebody makes the seat, somebody makes the dashboard, somebody makes the axles, somebody makes the front end. And when they pick a new model, they pick their suppliers, and like the suppliers have to be up and running in 12 months. We've been losing too many plants to the suburbs who have empty fields or empty warehouse factories ready to go. And what I could let Tim tell you this, but what NorthPoint does is they come in and clean it out and get ready. And so when GM said, we're going to have a seating plant for Lear with 400 jobs to build the seats for the Hummers, we had a place on Connor because NorthPoint had already knocked down that old Cadillac stamping and could make the deadline. And what we're going to have now is, I can't tell you who it's going to be or what part. I can tell you this. that when they clean this out and build out those buildings, so think about this, these guys are going on the hook for $66 million. They don't have somebody yet, but they know what they're doing. And so I think you're going to probably see in the next 12 months somebody announcing they're going in here. And then you really want to talk about strength in the neighborhood. People who are working here are going to be looking for places nearby to live. And I think you're going to see the kind of trend that the pastor is interested in. Tim, did I say that right? All right, he says I got his answer right. Anything else? Yes. Okay. Nicole?
Thank you. So yes, and where'd the question come from? Don't know where I'm looking. Oh, hey, Annalise. So yes, however it qualifies for the community benefits ordinance and a community benefits agreement, NorthPoint is a tremendous partner on that front, and you can expect to see all the activity, all the community engagement, all the conversations that need to happen, happening on the timeline that we've got to have them happen to meet the requirements.
And I would say one more thing. The Tier 2 process is more limited, but I saw what they did over on Connor, and they went way beyond the requirements. There's actually a little park out on Connor in front of the site, and they ended up redesigning the exits and the entrances to the way the neighbors wanted. That was beyond anything that was required, but they were just great partners. They sat down with the neighbors. In that case, Councilman Scott Benson facilitated it and ended up with the design. You're going to see the same thing here with Councilmember Durhall. I think you're going to see facilitated meetings with the neighbors, how it's going to be laid out, what's the landscaping like, how's the traffic going to flow. I think you're going to find them to be very good partners. Yes? Yeah, we could write a book on the failed transactions on this property. So I wasn't going to put my reputation behind something until I had the right person, the right deal, and I was confident it was going to happen. I think you're going to be really pleased. Okay, last question. Go ahead. Tim, is anything going to be able to be preserved?
Doubtful.
Yeah.
The overall cost of to preserve any of the historical,
Right.
primarily the office tower, it's down.
The insides have been stripped out by past owners to the point where there's nothing there. It's just not salvageable, which is why it sat here so long. But we found different ways to do historic recognitions with neighborhoods. When at the old Kettering School, where we built a supplier plant, the neighbors wanted the big blue K, and it got moved to the corner, and it was something. So there's going to be conversations with the neighborhood about what to do to remember what was here. Because there was. The people who've been here a long time have very fond memories of what that building was like, right? All right, yes?
Next step, what's the next step in the process?
Tim, what happens next?
Maybe a time frame,
Timing-wise, we signed a contract. We're under contract with the city, the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. We're in our due diligence period. That'll go through the next 90 to 120 days. Beyond that, there's an approvals period that will pursue Brownfield TIF and a tax abatement. That will take us likely into Q3 of 2022. At that point, then we'll start to abate the asbestos and start dropping the building. So that'll a good 6-month period. That'll take us beyond the spring. We'll prep the pad. So in mid-2023, we'll start to go vertical, and then by the end of 2023, at the latest, even early Q1 2024, the buildings will be built. We'll get a C of O, and we'll have a tenant in there, or multiple tenants in there.
All right, so we should see action on the site in the second half of last year, assuming Councilmember Durhall gets all the approvals done. Yes. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to face Karen if you don't get it done. Good. Yes. Yeah. You know, and if you can get longtime Detroiters, the history here is unbelievable. George Romney was the head of AMC. This was his office. And then he got elected governor, but he was a Detroiter. He lived in Palmer Woods. He loved this city, the headquarters of the city. They would not have moved the headquarters out if he had stayed in charge of AMC, but they got different leadership that moved out to the suburbs. But the amount of history that was here, but now we're going to make our own history, and we're going to bring this area back. So thank you all very much for being here.